Last year, we sold our little starter home and bought a fixer-upper on 5 acres. Renovations and remodels have been quite the adventure here, and we're smack dab in the middle of a big one, what we're calling our flooded to fabulous DIY guest bathroom remodel. In part 1 of this 2-part episode, we dealt with the aftermath of a broken pipe. We fixed up the water damage and mold, gave the room a fresh coat of paint, and replaced everything from flooring and vanity to the light fixtures and the sink. And we got started on the process of doing a DIY board and batten wainscoting wall. We'll be finishing up that project in this part 2, along with adding all of those beautiful finishing touches and decor. I was able to thrift several vintage items and DIY a few others to complete this space, turning it from a flooded builder grade nightmare to a homey, classic, and dreamy guest bathroom space. We love tackling projects like this, and we're glad you're joining us on this next step on our journey of taking this place from house to home. Well, hello and welcome back. We are picking up right where we left off in part 1 with working on finishing up this board and batten. I have holes to fill, stuff to sand down, repainting to do. I also have to fill in the seams and joints with caulking and get that painted as well. I definitely have my work cut out for me to finish the board and batten, and I'm excited to move on from that part of the project because I have other fun stuff that I want to do around here. Some DIY stuff. We still need to hang a mirror. We still need switch plates for our outlet and light switch. Weston is actually out of town for most of this week, so it's kind of on me to get this job done. I'm gonna see how much I can do before he gets back, but if nothing else, getting the board and batten finished up is going to make me feel so much better. So let's get started with that. Okay, the wood filler is on and it's drying. It actually dries really quickly. It looks a little scary right now, I'm gonna say, but it is totally worth filling these holes because the alternative is to have something that looks very unfinished. So now I'm gonna go into these seams where the wood meets the wall, and I'm going to caulk them here. This is paintable caulk, which is really important. I've made the mistake before of getting not paintable caulk and then not being able to put acrylic paint over it and having it just like beat up kind of like oil and water. That was an unfortunate circumstance, but today I have the right thing and I'm going to use it to fill in these seams. Like I'm going cross-eyed. The caulking is such a task. I have eczema really bad on this hand, my right hand, and I was just like using my nail to like push it into the seam. I think there's a tool for this. I remember seeing like a little plastic thing that you can hold and just like spread the caulk. I think that would be easier. I have a couple of other things I actually do need to pick up at the hardware store anyway. So I'm pausing the process here. I think I got everything done. I am really happy with this caulk line here between the shower trim and this. That's a sexy caulk line for sure. But there are other spots here that aren't looking as great, so I think I'm gonna moisturize my hands because they are drying out with all of this water I'm using. And I'm gonna run down to the hardware store and see if I can find something that helps. Okay, I'm back, and it's actually several hours later because I forgot my kids had soccer tonight, but we are back and I have the tools I need. So this little set that I got came with like this little attachment for the caulk gun so that it's a much finer tip, and then it also came with this little cover. How nifty is that? But the thing I went in for that also came in the kit are these spreaders, and I just tried doing the top rail of this, and I don't know that it's going to go faster, but it's certainly less messy, which makes me happier. All right, looking better. Progress has been made. I keep reminding myself that it gets worse before it gets better. I got all of the caulking and the hole filling done here on this side. And then as you saw last night, I also got the paint, or the first coat of paint, done over here. I'll probably go back in a couple of spots and add a little bit extra, but oh my goodness, the filled holes. Like if you look really closely, you can barely see those little dents. Some of them even turned out where you can't see those dents at all. So I'm really loving, like, each step of the way. This looks better and better as it goes. But Mama is tired. I stayed up way too late last night working on this. I was on my hands and knees on the floor here at 11:30 p.m. last night, finishing up the project so that when I woke up this morning, I could just sand down these little wood filler spots that I did, and then paint this side as well. The end is nigh. We are so close to being done with this project. The mirror for in here should be arriving today. I have a little DIY thing I want to try with the mirror. I'll show you that later. Right now, it's time to get sanding and painting. There are some spots here in corners and stuff that are just too small to access with a big sander like this. This sander truly is more for like stripping furniture or doing big stuff. I'd be better off with getting a little sanding pad, like one of those little triangle pads for our oscillating multi-tool. But for now, I'm just gonna use a little sanding pad for the harder to reach spots. So now I'm gonna just wipe all of the dust off. Something else I've noticed is that these faucets are backwards, isn't it? Lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. They're in the right spot. The left one is hot, the right one is cold, but they twist in a different direction than I intuitively grabbed for. So I'm gonna have to point that out to Weston and see if we need to fix that. But I wanna wipe all of this dust off before I put any paint on it. And I am sure this is the first of many times that I will be wiping down this wainscoting. Millwork is beautiful. It really just adds this classiness to a space and this very sort of classic look. But it is higher maintenance than a wall, especially just a textured wall. Textured walls hide so much. I see a place I missed sanding. With this room being a guest bathroom as well as our kids' bathroom, definitely didn't want to go the cutesy route in here. The kids have their own rooms for that, for their interests and cute curtains and stuff like that. I wanted to go more of the homey route. I want it to feel just like another part of our living space. And so far it is really turning out. This is just delightful. Said no one ever while scrubbing behind a toilet. Hey, there's a first time for everything, right? All wiped down and ready to paint. I'm starting with the caulking and the spots that we filled the wood, giving that an initial layer, which is what I did over here. And then I'm gonna go in and kind of give it all one extra layer to finish it off. Okay, that first layer of paint is up on this side, and while it dries, I'm gonna take yet another trip to the hardware store. I realize I need some white silicone caulking for around this sink basin, so I'm gonna go do that, and then maybe we'll stop by a thrift store. I'd like to look for some like knick-knacky sort of things, maybe something vintage to put in here. I love a good vintage touch. And now that I'm wrapping up the board and batten, I'm ready to start doing some of those creative and styling and like decor stuff. So let's go do that. One successful thrifting trip, and a few days later, and here we are. Weston's back in town, and we've actually worked on just a couple of detail things off camera. I did some silicone caulking here at the back of the sink. He took a look at some plumbing stuff. Turns out the way the knobs turn is actually how it's supposed to be. It says in the instructions they're supposed to turn opposite ways, which is new to me. I've never seen that before, but we're rolling with it. You'll see I have some blue tape up here at the top of the wainscoting. That's because I'm going to be patching some of the oopsies that I did that I got onto the white wall, and I'm waiting to do that for this mud up here where this light fixture was. If you saw part one of this bathroom saga, then you know that we mounted the light for a 42-inch vanity, which was the original one in here, and then when we put the new 36-inch vanity in here, the light was off center. So Weston moved it over, which created a hole that we mudded. It's drying. We're gonna retexture and paint that, and I'll touch up other little paint stuff around here in a bit. But right now, I'm gonna show you some really good stuff that I found at the thrift store. I scored. Okay, this is the best lighting in my house, but there's also crumbs all over the floor, so please excuse that. We live here. I found several things. Some of this is going to be saved for a future thrift store haul in a vlog later on, but I want to show you specifically what I think I'll be using in the bathroom. Oh my gosh, these. Okay, how adorable are these two little birdie paintings that are framed and matted? I was thinking originally that I would do some art of my own for the bathroom, and then I remembered that I am not an artist. And honestly, I was just so relieved to find this because I really love real art, originals or prints of like smaller artists, and not the as mass-produced stuff that you would get at Target or whatever, although I did order a pretty Studio McGee line art print that's framed, and it's really pretty. But I love finding gems like this. How pretty. I think they go this way. This is by Vanita Marta. I think that's the artist's name. And oh my gosh, gorgeous. Love the frames, that they're a little worn and distressed. Love that so much. And these were $3.99 each. Absolutely thrilling. And then I found this painting, and it's original. This is not a print. There is actual real life paint on this. How gorgeous is that? This little mill with the river and the fall colors. This is like exactly what I love. It has a beautiful frame with a little bit of like burnishing and sort of these gold, like antique gold highlights, which I'm actually planning to do in a DIY project for our mirror. And I think the signature on this says Harrington. You guys will never guess how much this one cost. Put your guesses in the comments right now. Drum roll, please. This one was a freaking $1.99, which kind of makes me sad because someone put a lot of beautiful work into this only to have it sold for $1.99 at a thrift store. but I hope they'll be happy to know that it's now in a very loving home, and I'm gonna give it a good spot. Whether it's in the bathroom or not, we shall see if these things end up in there, but I'm thinking they will. I also found this too. How cute is this? A little basket with a lid. Maybe you could put like Q-tips or cotton balls or something in it. I'm sure my kids will probably put dead flies in it because that's what my children do. Everyone else's children find random bugs and like put them in things. Oh, and I almost forgot this. So I am always on the lookout for amber glass whenever I go to the thrift store. It's a great place to find really pretty pieces. And I thought this little votive with a little plate for the bottom was gorgeous. I can get this old candle out of there. It doesn't have a wick anymore. And probably just pour my own little beeswax candle. The kids and I like to do that every once in a while. I picked up a few other frames and stuff, but again, I will save that for another like thrift haul because I actually went to an estate sale a few weeks ago and found a couple of things that I will show in a different video. But there's the little collection of stuff I think I'm gonna use in the bathroom. I also have a vase that I found a while back that I'm considering painting. More on that in a bit. Let's switch gears now and actually go back into the bathroom and chat about the shower. So the shower in here is a very nice Bath Fitter brand accessible shower. The shower tub that was originally built into this house was taken out, and the previous owners had this installed for, I believe, an elderly family member, and this was a much better fit for them. Glass and children, spotty well water. We have a filter on the head. It still gets all very spotty. We've had a squeegee in here from day one. We've instructed our kids on how to like dry it off. It's just not happening. Right now I'm working with my kids on how to wash their bodies, let alone a very high maintenance glass shower. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cover the dang thing up with a shower curtain. And some of you might think that that's total blasphemy, but it is a quick thing to do. I have a tension rod that I got for like $12.99 at Target to hang up there. And then I actually ended up having to buy 2 shower curtains to be able to sort of like cut and sew them together to make it longer, because the one shower curtain is too short to cover this really tall shower. Sometimes your DIY projects save you money and sometimes they end up costing you a little bit more, but I really like this one shower curtain that I found. It is a nice texture, it's nice and light. I don't want to miss out on how light this shower makes this room. We've got some great natural light coming in through this window, but it shines through all of the water spots and stuff, which I've tried everything. The Rain-X, the Dawn dish soap, the vinegar, the baking soda, letting it soak overnight. I've tried it all. I would literally have to go in there and detail clean this shower every single time my kids take a shower in it, which is multiple times a day in the summertime with all the dust and dirt, and mama ain't got time for that. And you know what? As they get a little bit older, maybe we will be able to work together to maintain this, but right now, we are just not in that stage of life. So we're gonna cover it up for now. I'm gonna get my sewing machine out and let's do a little semi-DIY sewing project. Just like I'm not an artist, I'm definitely not a professional seamstress, but my 5th grade homeschool co-op basic sewing class that I took definitely has come in handy from time to time, and this is a very easy, quick sewing project. So I started by just cutting off the top portion of one of the 2 shower curtains that I got and adding it to the other shower curtain, just essentially making it longer. I cut the top portion off so that I would have those holes in it to be able to put the hooks in and hang the shower curtain. But it was a very simple zigzag stitch because I wanted it to be nice and secure, because I will probably be laundering this thing 50 million times when my kids get it grimy and dirty, which I am being realistic, it will happen probably within the first day it goes up. Thanks for doing that, babe.
Thanks, guys. We're going to leave the gap, so gonna stick.
Yeah, and I'm still going to caulk it.
So I think we'll do it.
Sweet.
Do you know how to do this?
Mm-hmm. Are you doubting me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever watched me sew before?
Yes.
I don't do it very often. Do you know who you made this sewing machine?
Who?
Grandma Judy.
What? Really?
Yeah. This was her wedding gift to me. She gave it to me at my bridal shower. It was nice to dust off the old sewing machine and do this simple project, and I will be using the rest of the second shower curtain that I cut into, probably to make some curtains for Haley's room. She really likes these curtains, and it's the perfect length and width. I could just cut it up and turn it into 2 panels, and it would be really cute in her room. So we'll see if I do that, but right now I ended up with a great option for our bathroom. Nice. Okay, Liam, did you bring me your comforter? Is there a hole in it? There we go. If I have the sewing machine out, I might as well do all the mending, right? Okay, here you go, buddy.
What? It works?
Well, it's not perfect, but your dad didn't marry me because I could sew a straight seam. Good enough. Here's a quick tip that I learned. If you're short like me and hanging a shower curtain is a challenge because of how high it is, and it's a tension rod, I just lower the tension rod and then hook everything onto it. And then I either get a stool and put the whole thing up, or I have Weston help me. But this way really cuts down on the time I'm like reaching over my head and my arms are falling asleep.
What about this self-confident girl? Guess you really need to be with her. She's so clever and so strong. Will you really need to meet her?
Okay, we are looking good. And one shower in here and there will be enough steam to make some of these wrinkles relax. I might actually get in here with my steamer before I take the after shots for this video. But I can see when I look close where I sewed it, but I don't think anyone would notice, honestly. Now it is tall enough to be right there at the ground, cover up any silver brushed nickel, and it's light filtering, so it still lets that beautiful natural light in. It is this sort of airy linen material, but it's that nice sort of natural white that I can throw it into the wash and use it for years. Hopefully, we'll see how it holds up, but it was cheap and quick, and I think it's gonna work. Now we're just gonna work on retexturing, doing a little bit of touch-up work on the wall here, and then it's gonna be decorating time.
This eloquent girl, will you really need to speak to her? Her smile makes you feel like you are blessed. Will you really need to see it?
Hello, hello.
Hi.
We saw you yesterday, but we didn't actually get to say hi to you. And look at that, it's the last day of the project and Weston is here doing the door trim. We're just doing a very simple mitered edge with some basic straight boards, MDF boards. And then he's gonna reinstall the vanity light fixture. And while he's finishing up that project, I'm gonna go work on a couple of little DIY things to finish off the projects for this space. For this first quick DIY project, I am painting over this blue vintage vase that I got at the thrift store a few months back. I love the size and the shape of the vase. It's got that nice French country sort of feel, but I'm not a big fan of the blue. I don't decorate with blue hardly at all in my house. I found the perfect green paint while I was at the hardware store earlier in this video when I was getting distracted by the paint colors, so I picked up a little sample size of Countryside by Magnolia Home Paint Line, and it is perfect. So I decided to do the baking soda mixed with paint little hack to make this look more like sort of unglazed pottery. This was a bit of a roller coaster, I will say. As I went and as I was applying the first coat, I was thinking, yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. But I got the hairdryer out to help speed up the drying in between coats, and the more coats I applied, the better and better it looked. And honestly, I love how this vase turned out. The green is the perfect color. It's exactly what I was going for, and I love that matte, textured, rough finish on the outside. It is beautiful, and it's gonna be perfect with a little bouquet of baby's breath in it. The next DIY that I'm attempting is to add a little bit of antique gold burnishing to the brackets that came with the mirror that I ordered. This is the Moen Gilchrist mirror, and I love the style of it, and it's gonna work really well with our board and batten and how that is a different sort of level than the wall behind it. This is a great way to get around that, but I wasn't loving this more cool toned oil rubbed bronze finish, and I've heard about this product for years and I'm finally giving it a try, and it is so easy to use, honestly. Just like the name implies, you rub on the color into certain spots and then you buff it out. You can use acetone to remove any little mistakes that you make and go back in, and you just sort of work with it until you reach your desired finish. And I love how it really transformed these brackets and helped them coordinate a little bit better with the other hardware, the faucet and the light fixtures in the bathroom. Weston's just finishing up some electrical over here. We got the mirror up, which I love, and I'm starting to do just a little bit of the preliminary styling for in here. So I have these bird pictures, which I think are gonna go over the toilet. Over here I have my art options for above this side, next to the shower. This is the one that I already showed you. I think it might be a little small for this wall, as cute as it is. And this one from Target just arrived. This is the Studio McGee one. It actually wasn't supposed to be here for a couple of days, but it arrived today. I think this one might be the better option for this spot. So I'm gonna go with this one, but let me know which one you would do. And I know I can find another spot somewhere here for this pretty vintage hand-painted one. You have squeaky, what are those called?
Strippers.
Wire strippers, those are squeaky. And the most important part, the toilet paper hanger.
Is doing it the right way.
Oh, yay! Now I can decorate.
Someday I'll find home, the picture in my mind, a place where I can go, and you'll be always mine, always mine.
Deep breaths. The job is done. And before I take you around and share some thoughts with you, let's take a look at these before and afters, because where we started to where we are right now, it's worth its own moment.
It's crazy to think that we're in the same bathroom that we started with.
I know.
And
This is crazy.
I am very impressed with what you came up with.
Oh, thank
To come up
you.
with this on my own would not have been able to do that, so.
Well, I would not have been able to pull it off without you.
Wow.
So we make a good team.
Here we go. I showed his back. There you go. I think it looks really good. I love the colors you chose, and
Yeah,
they all clashes together, or goes together really well.
Doesn't clash.
Doesn't clash together.
Fun fact about the color. The green, this green that I love so much, you know what I'm realizing? It's the same color as Weston's eyes.
Who would have thought?
Weston stepped out momentarily to help a kiddo, but I'm just gonna give you a little peek around after you saw those before and afters, just to show you some details and highlight some favorite spots of mine. Oh my, something's going on outside the door. These vintage paintings here are probably my favorite piece. They're just so quaint. That's just the word that comes to mind. And I love it when paintings are hung by a wire. It just makes it look so old-fashioned and sweet. But then that's kind of juxtaposed with across the way, the more modern painting, the more modern frame. And that's just kind of what I've been going for in my house in general, but also in here, is clean, straight, more modern lines, more modern fixtures and base units, but then adding some vintage touches, things that seem like they're from a different day and age that work for us. I love this faucet. This was the best Amazon find, and I will link the materials that we use. I obviously can't link like actual vintage stuff for you guys, but I love this DIY that I put together for the vase. You'll notice I even did a little bit of the rub and buff here on our little soap dispenser, and it just kind of ties everything in nicely with our fixtures and our other little accents. We have these little handles here. Nothing is organized. We still have a towel under there. So in my next video, I'm actually going to be doing a messy to minimal declutter and reorganization of all of our under sink cabinets, which is how this whole video started. I popped in here a couple of weeks ago in the old version of this bathroom to do that video and heard a nice little drip drip happening, and I had to pause all of those plans for that video to take care of this. But I'm so grateful that we were able to get this done. It just looks so good. But you'll notice there is something that we forgot. It didn't occur to me until just a few moments ago that we do not have a towel hook or like a towel ring or anything like that. So right now I just have our little flour sack hand towel draped on the countertop. I have to keep my eye out for hopefully something vintage. That would be really pretty right here to hang the towel on. But I'm gonna call Weston back in here and we're gonna say goodbye to this video. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us over the past two parts of this video, part one, and then today when we put those finishing touches in. It's crazy how it's so much hard work to get things fixed, but then those tiny details really make the big impact, and I'm just loving this so much in here.
Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe.
Thanks so much for spending a little part of your day here with us on my channel, and we'll catch you later.
New story to tell, new sights, new